The holidays are right around the corner. Why not give the special person in your life a gift that says, I want to spend more quality time with you? I'm talking, of course, about Catan. Catan is a board game for 3 to 4 players, ages 10 and over, although younger kids can play with initial adult guidance. Catan is awesome. It takes as little as 15 minutes to learn the basics, but it provides enough depth to keep you discovering new strategies for years to come. And unlike the roll and move games of your childhood, Catan is an approachable balance of strategy and luck. Anyone can win, and players don't get knocked out of the game. The hexagonal tile board is actually completely variable, which means you'll never play the same game twice, and that gives it great value that will make it last a lifetime. And if you want to go further, once you fall in love with the Catan base game, there's a whole world of expansions and standalone games to explore even more. Catan is a global phenomenon. It's been translated into more than 40 languages, and global sales exceed 35 million Catan games. Get Catan at catanshop.com/goodmorning. Listeners of this podcast get 10% off the original base game Catan by using the promo code GOODMORNING at checkout. Offer is not good on other Catan titles or merchandise. Go right now to catanshop.com/goodmorning. Get 10% off with that code GOODMORNING at checkout. Give yourself or the special person in your life the gift of Catan, a game gift that keeps on giving.
Why do birds appear every time you are near?
It's likely they planted a tracking device on you.
Good morning, Night Vale. Hello, it's me, Hal Lublin. You know what I do, and you know what I'm about, and I appreciate it.
And hey, I'm Symphony Sanders, and you know whose booty I kick. You know how strong I am. What of it?
Hi, it's Meg, and you know where I live, and what I ate, and where I sleep. Maybe you don't. Anyway, welcome. Welcome to Good Morning Night Vale. This is the show where we recap the hit popular cult podcast, Welcome to Night Vale, because we think it's fun, and we think that it's a cultural touchstone that requires further investigation.
Mm-hmm.
This moment in time is 9:29 p.m., Thursday, October 28th. If you couldn't tell by the state of my brain, the sun has gone down. So
It's night-night for Meg.
yeah.
You're sundown.
I sundown now, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sure.
And this is episode 97, Josephina. The episode description is a visit with an old friend, plus updates on Hiram and changes to the subway. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Talk about it.
Friends.
I say Josefina.
Okay, I know I said Josefina like in my head, but I think he said in the recording Josephina, so right?
I don't remember.
I think so, maybe so.
I think he did because that's why they call her Josie, not Josie. No?
Fair enough.
Anyways, this episode, for real, hit me in the heartstrings
Yeah.
and the sad feels.
Mm-hmm.
So much happened. And first of all, we got a voice for Josie. Did we not have Retta before, right?
I don't believe so.
This is the first time, I think.
I think so as well.
We could be strong and wrong, but let's be strong and wrong. This is the first time we've heard Josie's voice and played by the lovely Retta. And I thought it was wonderful. It was beautiful to get an insight into her life, which we don't get for a lot of our characters, getting that background. But yeah, for me personally, it hit hard. What about you guys?
I thought it was cool to hear more about this character. I love when we sort of get the zoom in on a character that we didn't really hear too much about, and we get little details of the nuances of their life. But then also plot is sort of woven into that as well. So it's like a character moment, but also a plot moment. I think that this one was done pretty deftly. I appreciated that. And then there's also the sort of kind of future foreshadowing. Obviously there's the big elephant in the room is that the old lady is sick. Mm-hmm. So, and we know how that ends. The old ladies, they live forever in our hearts and minds.
Yes.
Right.
But there's also the thing that's kind of being set up with the angels and Josie's estate and how all of that and what Josie's wishes are
right
with all of that. And then sort of the history of Night Vale, which I think there's some stuff in there that's like really funny. The music stuff, how like listening to music was illegal.
Mm-hmm.
Right. It's like the Footloose town.
Until John Cage. I thought that was really funny.
By the way, Retta's first appearance was episode 65 voicemail.
Oh,
so we have her as Old Woman Josie before. But what I was trying to remember listening is like, I know we talked about how Retta came to the show, but I cannot remember that story. And I don't mind hearing it again if everybody else doesn't mind hearing it again. How did Retta, was she someone who listened to the podcast, or was she a friend of a friend?
She was a friend of Kevin's.
Ah.
Oh, yes.
I believe they attended university together, I believe.
I love Kevin.
So
right,
we all love
Kevin, because Kevin's the greatest.
Love Kevin.
He's a great person. I mean, I would say we're all great people. To be honest, we're all great friends. We're all great people, and I feel like that's one of the magic things about doing this show is that I've gotten to meet some of the most phenomenal people who play characters, are a part of cast and crew of Welcome to Night Vale. So. Is it surprising that Kevin knows someone amazing? No, because Kevin is, in fact, amazing. But I know we all love on our friends every time someone's on or we talk about them. But it's just because they're so great.
Yeah. Yeah, they're great people. Obviously, everybody's good at what they do.
Yeah.
But Kevin is one of those people where I want I just want us to be best friends.
Yeah.
You know, like, because he's so personable. And then he brings us great people like Retta.
That's right.
To be on the show. And she's so good. She's so talented and so funny. And
him and Jessica were friends. They had done shows together when Jessica was living in New York. So that's also another connection. So Kevin, linchpin.
There you go. Yeah.
For cool-ass people.
One of the great linchpin of the universe.
Oh, yeah. I feel very lucky to know Kevin, and right when I graduated, Kevin hired me at the Neo Futurists to be an intern. So, which is the trajectory of my whole life. So, and just when you're an intern at the Neo Futurists, you spend an incredible amount of time with the cast making the show. And it's such a huge learning moment. I learned so much from Kevin. And then Kevin also hired me to stage manage his friend's Fringe show. And it was a one-woman show. And she was so good. And he was directing it. And I got to spend a lot of time in that process with the three of them. We were kind of the three of us. I stage managed. And then there was the lead actor and Kevin. And it was just so cool to get to be a part of that process. Mm-hmm. So Kevin has opened a lot of doors for me, as well as is just an awesome person and is really talented and a good friend. A really good educator too. Really good teacher.
Kevin R. Free, a gentleman and a scholar.
And by the way, that friend doing the one-woman show was Meryl Streep. Great connector. Great connector. That's just what Kevin is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love Kevin. Love Kevin. And it was really, really cool to get to have Retta on this show. It's, really cool when people who are like actual big time TV celebrities are on our little night.
Exactly. And talking about Schwitz,
Yeah.
I found that actually one of the funnier parts of this whole thing. I really did, like you said, Meg, I really enjoyed that we got to see some history of Night Vale that was never kind of revealed to us before. Because, I mean, most of the people, the main characters that we hear from often are of this generation. I say that in quotation marks. They're like not young, because who knows how old anybody is in Night Vale, but like Cecil doesn't remember the past, as is evidenced by him not remembering that him and Earl, how good of friends they were. But Josie remembers that and talked about them being Boy Scouts together.
Yes.
Yep.
Another clue to his former life. I expected in that moment that to be like they were all the same age, that they grew up together.
Oh, like Josie and...
Because there's something... They've lost huge amounts of time.
Yeah. And
from listening even to his old cassettes, like there's something weird going on. So that was something in my brain that I was preparing for. Oh, Cecil and Josie are actually the same age, but due to whatever he's gone through, whatever Earl has gone through, they have not aged the same amount.
Right.
As her.
I don't know why. Because it wasn't explicitly said, but I was just like, oh, she was an adult
Mm-hmm.
And she saw Cecil running around the neighborhood and all this stuff, but like very well could have been like they were of the same group.
Yeah.
And then somehow Cecil was suspended in space, him and Earl, and then all of a sudden Earl popped up as an adult person with a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And Cecil, I mean, because even when we go back to like cassettes and stuff like that, like Cecil's voice and like all the things that he was saying and how he had never heard those before. So whether that's a gap in his memory or that's a consequence of the time slowing, timey-wimey, not worky, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's some kind of experimentation that's happened. That's going to be my working theory right now, that they were both experimented on. Earl has more awareness of it than Cecil, but there's some conditioning there where they're repelled by, he's repelled to think. When he thinks about it, he just wants to move on. He can't touch on it. Either it's too painful or he can't access that memory. Something going on there, but the clues they're out there.
There's something going on here.
Follow the money. That's where it all is. The money.
Yeah.
Speaking of the money, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, Josie's wishes and the Ericas being kind of, because they're not considered actual people, they're not recognized by the government, are going to be pushed out of the society that they've basically built, the arts community that they've built. It makes me think of a lot of things. For like gay rights, if you're not married to someone, they're not allowed to have say over your like healthcare or over their property, even though you could have been married or like emotionally, but not, if it's not legal, they don't have any legal standing, right? And as some of you know, my parents passed away recently, so I've been dealing with a lot of these things like wills and property turning over to things and stuff like that. And it's very complicated. And when you don't have the proper things put in place, it makes it even more difficult. So I understand where Josie stands with Alondra, because Alondra doesn't want to be a part of that. She's in Oklahoma. Right?
In Texas, right?
Right. At first I was like, where? I had to go back. I was like, oh, Oklahoma. They did that twice during this episode. They also did a Michigan, which that shit's my favorite.
Oh, in the terms and conditions for Walmart, right?
Yeah.
Not valid in Michigan. So good.
Oh, Michigan. But yeah, so I know a lot of that stuff can be really complicated. I feel like in Night Vale, there has to be some sort of, I don't know, she was kind of asking Cecil to help her figure out how to help the Ericas keep their ownership of Strex and all that stuff.
Yeah, she was like, say it, Cecil. Say that angels are real. Say it.
He couldn't, though. Do you think that's part of his conditioning, Hal?
Yeah. That's like one of his main modes, right? He is conditioned by everything around him, and it takes extraordinary circumstances for him to be shaken out of it and for him to have any kind of awakening. But then even when he does, he winds up reverting at some point anyway, because he's ultimately a vessel through which information is passed from the figures of authority to the masses. That is his job, and if he didn't perform it well, he wouldn't get to keep it. I don't think he's there because he has a great voice. I think he's there because he is controllable either through experimentation and direct influence, or just he's willing to believe these things. And that's just how he's wired. Because he'll question some stuff,
right,
but it has to be personal to him. There's a lot that he just doesn't question at all. It's like, that's the way it is, and that's what you got to do, and that's it.
But I wonder though, how many other people in the town have that same either conditioning or mindset? Do you know what I mean? Because he makes it seem like it's so normal to have those, like it's nothing, and it just seems like it's one of those things that either everybody knows that that's the way it is and they go along with it, Or is he just a propaganda mouthpiece? I don't think so. I feel like he puts too much of his personal self in it. I think it's just like that has been what they have been indoctrinated and trained on. And like, you don't buck that system that's been working, or you're taught not to even think about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're not taught like the critical thinking skills to question those things.
Yeah, that's true.
And just the ingrained fear of the repercussions.
Right. Knowing that you could go to a re-education center or be put in a hole or something.
Or worse.
What's worse?
Bad pizza.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Domino's.
Domino's for slush.
Domino's.
It's very rare. The outliers are the people who question things and stand up to things. People like Tamika Flynn, people like Dana Cardinal, people like Maureen who question. That's why they sort of stick out and they survive things that maybe other people haven't, and they don't fall into those same patterns because they're willing to question and step outside of those things and not just be part of the machine.
And when you say Old Woman Josie is one of those outliers, she literally lives and has been like supporting these angels for years and years, right? And like the whole music thing where they did the whole Tosca, the opera or whatever, like, and
Mm-hmm.
like they've been kind of bucking the system for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's there.
I feel like Cecil kind of attracts those people though too, because like Carlos, who's the outsider, the definitive outsider who's here to question all of it, and it's the person closest to Cecil. And then there's Steve, who has his he's not afraid to speak out about some of the stuff that he's thinking and feeling. And so there's and Josie and Dana, and so there's a lot of the people that end up closest to Cecil are the ones that are like kind of poking the sharp stick at the belly of whatever is the norm or the system.
Yeah, so he is surrounding himself with these people. I don't know if that's maybe is that a cry for help? Is that his way of rebelling by supporting and loving and being surrounded by these people? Like he can't personally rebel like that or be the outsider,
but he can run with the crowd. Yeah,
I don't know.
I think we do know. So I wanted to go into the music being illegal joke though, the John Cage 4 minutes 33 seconds. So the music's illegal, listening to it's illegal, but music itself is not. But when John Cage released 4 minutes 33 seconds, which is silence, or it's not silence, it's the sound of nothing. The sound of musicians not playing instruments is what it is. And then so that became, because once that existed, then everyone became guilty of listening to music. So then they had to decriminalize it, which I think is like such a insider nerd art joke that goes a long way for your lunch, but I find it really funny. And I think that's just one of the cool things about Night Vale is that they will put in this insider weird art joke and just let it land.
Well, and I think that can be really fun when you know that maybe 7 people are going to get this. But it's fun no matter what. Like, just because it sounds like even though I didn't know that like story, now that you tell me that, I'm like, oh wow, that adds another dimension to it. But like, I still thought it was funny before. So what is this witchcraft?
It's a well-constructed joke, right?
Right.
If you get, it's sort of layered, like good comedy is. If you get it, it's funny in and of itself, but it contains a reference gets a level further, so you can enjoy it. It can be enjoyed by 2 people on those 2 different levels. I think that's just a sign of good constructive writing.
This is why I will never consider myself a writer, because like I'm so surface. Sometimes I swear I am like so surface. I'm like, dick, fart jokes, done. We're here for it. That's all I got for you. Very 13-year-old infantile humor will get me every time.
Me too.
Which I think is great humor. Some of the best humor.
Yeah.
Farts are funny.
I sit there and I laugh at that TikTok account where the guy tries to get his wife to gag.
Oh, when he's like,
going, hey, Laura.
She's like, please no.
Hey, Laura. Yeah. She's like, please no. What, did you have a good day at work? What happens when I do this? And it's just her try. And then the rest of it is just her going, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do why you always do this. And it's the same thing every time. It's never any different, except when his brother's there and they both start doing it.
Oh, no.
His younger brother, he's like, Tim, hit her with one. He's like, Burr. But it's the same thing every time, and I watch it every time, and I laugh every time.
Yep.
It's funny. Yeah, it's just funny. It doesn't have to be a John Cage reference. That's what's great about comedy, right? And great about people is you can find farts funny, and that's great.
Yeah.
And you can find a John Cage reference great, and that's also good.
But sometimes I do want to be a smart arty who's like, oh,
you are.
Excellent,
you can be
witty. Sometimes
you contain multitude. You can contain multitudes.
Only when I have my monocle out.
Yeah, when you get your monocle out. Unless you're dressing as the Count, in which case you're just counting things.
One ringy dingy
Oh my God. One of the funniest videos that puts me in tears every time I watch it is somebody took the Count performing a song and bleeped the word count. And it's when you do that, it sounds like the F word. And so he's doing something like, I count slowly, 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 getting faster. When I started counting, I can never stop.
Yeah, that does sound perverted if you cut out the count.
It's so good. It's so good.
See, sometimes it's the simple things that get it. Oh. Don't die, Hal.
I'm gonna share it later on when we're done off mic. I'll share it. I'll play it for you, and then you can see how great it is.
Good.
In the meantime, maybe let's talk about the news. Hiram, he's in good spirits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hadassah, she's
because the faceless old woman is helping him get out of prison.
Right. I love that Cecil was not supposed to read that, but like. He's the worst. He's the worst and the best. It's just like but do you think people will forget about it that he wasn't supposed to read it? No, right?
Well, they'll get reprogrammed. The people will come, throw them in a van, and erase the memory. But it's a lot of work. I bet you that nobody wants to do their job, right? They're all bad at their job, and nobody wants part of being bad at your job is not even wanting to do it, right?
Yes.
So,
and then the messages on the roaches. That's fucking disgusting.
Oh, yeah. They're all just, it's like a sort of the refrigerator magnet poetry press release.
Okay, I'm also
roaches?
thinking, roaches, they don't sit still. They're going to be like, so even if you caught them all, which, that's disgusting. You have to like arrange them. What did you glue them down?
You put them each in their own little box, but next to each other.
A clear box that you can see the word through.
A clear box, yeah. Because you can't smush them. If you smush them, you won't be able to see the word word anymore to get smushed out.
This sounds like a serial killer's dilemma.
So, yeah, because it's about the subway. And anytime we go underground in Night Vale, things get weird.
Hunto car,
the crates.
Yeah.
Like the other weird words and things like that.
Do we think this is foreshadowing? No.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are planting some seeds underground for what's to come.
That's what we do.
I'm scared. I don't know why. Like every time Hunto car is like brought up, like it really instills like a striking fear in me. I'm just like, I don't like this. And I think part of it is because I don't know what happens past all this. You know what I mean? Because we only, I listen to episodes, but like here and there. And then I was like, oh, I like to make a joke that I only listen to the episodes that I'm on. Not exactly true, but sometimes. And I'm like, oh, right, this whole storyline, but I don't know anything about it, so it freaks me out.
Speaking about being freaked out, I want to say this, but I almost feel like you should take your headphones off, Symphony.
Shut up.
We just take your headphones off for a second.
No, you're going to scare me.
Nothing is bad. No. It's not to scare you. I just want to say something. Go ahead. Take them off. All right. She took her headphones off. Meg, over her shoulder.
Stop it.
Just that thing sitting there looks like the girl from The Ring is going to pop out and just be like, how you doing? Which is enough. Like, just a monster. You can put it, just a monster like popping out and going like, how's it going? Is enough. Like, that scares me. I think about it like a Dracula comes out and is like, what's going on, man? And then I freak out and run.
Those are just my large amount of robes hanging up.
But am I right, Meg? Do you see it? No, you're fine. They're just robes.
Yes.
No,
but it does look like someone going like, how's it going? What you doing over there? You doing a podcast?
We can't talk about things that are in the background of Symphony without her getting scared.
No.
I know. That's why I wanted you to take but you knew immediately when you took the headphones. Then you put them on while I was saying it, and I just...
From the second I literally sat down to record this friggin' podcast with you, I knew that the closet was open because it's literally stuffed full of junk. If a ghost can fit in there, good luck, bitch, because it's chock full of shoes and my dresses, my show dresses. That's what's in there, like show dresses and shoes. I don't think a ghost or if they can fit in there, they're flat. Like, I ain't scared of you.
There's a ghost like, can you just let me out? I swear I'll leave. I don't even want to be here, but I'm stuck.
Literally. So
how you doing?
How you doing? Yeah.
What's going on?
So if they can fucking fit in there, good luck. Good luck scaring me. Drag my soul to hell.
I think our new merch is going to be a t-shirt with a Dracula on it saying, how are you doing? How you doing? Boo! Oh, just kidding.
Gotcha.
Want to go to Chipotle?
Speaking of creepy, while we're on the creepy subject, this is completely unrelated to this podcast or really anything we're talking about other than it's creepy. So 2 nights ago, it was like a really windy night. And Joseph, after the baby wakes up at like 5 a.m., Joseph will go downstairs and sleep for the rest of the night downstairs so that he can actually get a better night's sleep. So after he went downstairs, I'm not sure, I fed the baby and put her back down to bed. I was laying in bed and I was like, thought I heard Joseph in bed with me. And I was like, I guess he came back up. That's weird. I really felt him. Like, I felt him moving around in the bed and I've heard him touch stuff on the nightstand. And I was like, then I opened my eyes and reached my hand out and there was nothing.
Was it the baby?
Okay. The baby's in her bed across the room. But anyway. And then Joseph the next morning was talking to me and he's like, I had the weirdest dream last night after I went downstairs and I was in the guest room, is that you were in bed with me down there.
What?
He's like, and then I woke up and you were gone.
You guys are each other's ghost. That's really fucking
How creepy is that, though?
That's really creepy.
Or maybe a ghost is trying to bone both of you. Like, trying to, get...
Thruple. Do you want to be in a thruple with me? I'm a ghost. Long ago.
We're polyamorous.
Yes.
I figured it was probably just because it was, really windy that... For me, I just figured it was because it was really windy. There was a lot of noise. And so I was probably half asleep and just heard noises. And my brain was my brain hears Joseph move every night and has for the past 13 years. So it's just that's what that is. But then
or maybe it's me. Your thruple ghost.
I'm just trying to slide into your DMs.
Yes.
Isn't it weird that we both had that experience, though?
Yes, that's very weird.
Yes, it is.
And we're trying to make light of it so that we don't get too creeped out.
Correct. My foot was shaking. Restless foot syndrome from creepiness. Hey, can I lay in the middle? Just for comfort. I'm scared. Also, I just got freed from Symphony's closet and I enjoy being smushed in between things. Turns out that's my thing. It's like a thunder jacket for me.
Has that ever happened to you when Jennifer's been gone? How?
No. The closest thing to anything like that is one time when I had a terrible fever when I was in like middle school. I distinctly remember some guy in the suit of armor walking into my bedroom with an axe and a head and putting the head down and then leaving. And the best I could figure was that person was there to protect me. And I was like, look, took care of that person out there for you. Like a cat, where a cat's like, hey, do you like dead birds? They're like, not in my house.
This was in your home in outside Philly?
Childhood home, yes. In
the house that I've been in?
Huntington Valley, PA. No, not that house.
Oh, okay.
They moved there long after that.
Okay.
But I had a fever of like 102 or something.
Okay,
like
so you
that.
could have just been hallucinating.
So, it was a fever dream, but I've never, I don't think. Well, here's another one. Have I talked about my Ouija board experience?
No.
So in my freshman year of college, we had a Ouija board and we were doing it, asking it yes or no questions. And everybody's like, you're moving it, you're moving it, you're moving it. And it was saying things that made me think it was related to me.
Okay.
And I can't remember what the specifics were, but I asked my father about it afterwards. He was like, yeah, you had a great uncle named this and that, like all these things that made me, that was like, there's no way. I'd never heard any of this information before, but it was answering things that I wish I could remember the specifics of it. Also, one time I had a dream that I worked at Gino's Chicken in Philadelphia with my dad when I was a little kid and did not realize that he had actually worked at a place called Gino's Chicken, which I don't think existed anymore when I was a kid. Like I had a dream where I was I knew what the uniforms looked like and everything. So you tell me what's going on with me. I don't know.
I think maybe you have some gifts that you haven't exactly tapped into, Hal. Maybe you should really work on your medium skills.
Maybe I should.
I wish you could see Symphony's face as she's saying this, as she's raising her copper cup to her lips. Her copper mug.
I look insane. That's all you need to know. Wow. Well, I've never really had any sort of, I think we're all in this mindset also because we're so close to Halloween and spooky season. I mean, where you are in the future, my friends, Halloween has come and gone, but it's always Halloween in our hearts. And, I've never personally had a thing like that, I don't think, but I don't know. I'm open to it. Not to whatever's in my closet, though.
You say that you're open to it, but when we even suggest it, you freak out.
That something's looking at me through a mirror behind me or creeping in my closet. Yeah, because it all sounds menacing. I don't want a menacing thing. I want a nice experience, like my parents or my grandma or something, not a fucking demon that's going to be like, hey, what are you doing?
Let me possess you. How you doing?
I don't want the girl from The Ring.
Is this Albany? I'm lost.
Wait, did you ever see that movie with Howie Mandel, Little Monsters, I think, where they came out from under your bed and then the boy went into the underground
Fred
world.
Savage.
That's the boy.
Yeah.
And then you could go, and that's how the monster had a whole system, and that's how they got around the world onto other people's beds. I think about that a lot. That's why I don't like to have a bed frame with air under it.
Let's face something, yeah.
I'm like, because if you put your foot down,
storage.
nothing can. Yeah, I'm like, I have drawers under my bed, and I'm like, nothing's gonna grab me. Can't fit, baby.
Yeah,
Can't
it's
fit.
trundled.
Nothing's gonna drag me under.
Nothing's gonna drag me under.
There's no Hunto car down there.
No. Up next, we hear from fans and friends of the podcast about their theories, comments, and questions. But first, conversation about this episode's weather, Everywhere by X Hex, which to me sounded like sort of something made me think of Devo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something Devo-ish about it. Shadowy Men on a Shadowy Planet. Like just the sound quality of it, and which is a compliment. Just something about the quality of it. I really like the song a lot.
I also really like the song. I really like the rock vibe, and it had a bit of a reverbery, sort of echoey sort of sound to it, which I really enjoyed. And I also enjoy a long musical interlude sometimes, where it's like not all lyrics, because it was really fun and it gave me a chance to kind of like think. And I'm not just like trying to listen to the lyrics. I'm just like, okay, I'm really enjoying this, but why do I enjoy this? What does this make me think of? And, I don't know. I just thought it was a really nice piece of music. Great job, X-Hex.
X-Hex, they're an American rock band. They formed in 2013 in the DC area. They are a 3-piece.
Yep.
Yeah. They're known for their riffs.
Nice.
Like we were just talking about, that they riff. They're a formidable guitar band.
Yeah. It's that indie punk.
Yeah.
That's like the thing I'm hearing. But like early 80s indie punk, which I love.
Yeah, same. I enjoyed it very, very much. And I don't know, I'm a big fan of rock music and alternative music, or just like, I don't know, I really like big guitars, big sound, makes you feel like you want to be at a concert. I am not actually a concert goer. I go to some concerts, but I'm generally not a huge fan of concerts because it's like too many people. It stresses me out, like, do you hear that?
What?
Oh, good. Okay, good. The boys and their booms. It's just loud bass music. Anyway, that I do not enjoy, loud bass music coming from a car, but I do enjoy rock music at a concert venue. And this made me long for that. I prefer when I'm in a field. Do you know what I mean? And I can be away from people. I don't want to be up in the front because I'm small and I'll get crushed. Do you guys like concerts like that?
Yeah, I like a smaller concert. I prefer to be like at like a 200 seat rock room, sort of smaller vibes, or like at a theater. Like I like to see music acts at a theater where there's nice cushy seats.
Yeah. Or you can wander around and go outside for a second and still hear the music and then go inside. I went to a Ben Folds show that was like that. Because you had to stand if you were in the main area, and I need to sit down.
No.
Daddy needs to sit. He can't, yeah.
I don't want to stand. I'm not standing anymore. No. Sometimes I do like the option to be able to stand up and dance.
Sure.
I do like a cabaret for that, like where I can like sit and have a table and then there's a dance floor.
I went to see the Monkees at the Pantages.
Like, hey, we're the Monkees?
Which is like a dream for me. Hey, we're the Monkees. The at the time 3 surviving Monkees, Peter Tork, Mickey Dolenz, and Mike Nesmith, his last like full show with them. They just released Good Times, which is a fantastic album full of bops. And the people in front of me were standing and dancing the whole time. And if I didn't stand up, I couldn't see the band. And it annoyed me. And look, they can enjoy the show, but also sit down. I'm tired.
If you're gonna dance in the aisles, dude.
Dance in the aisles.
Yeah, no. Or like you can dance for like a song. You can stand and dance for the encore if you're in a theater. But dude, the whole time, come on.
Were you trying to impress?
Right off it.
Exactly. We get it.
Yeah.
You like the Monkees. I like them too. Big deal. Sit down.
Yeah. Sit down, stand up, sit down again, and tuck in. Because it's time to eat a calzone.
Yeah.
Fanzone calzone.
Fanzone calzone.
Pew, pew, pew.
Stay right there. Good Morning Night Vale will return after a brief break.
Hey, it's Jeffrey Craner, co-writer of Welcome to Night Vale, and I'm not trying to be weird here, but I'm gonna tell you about my underwear. It never fit right. It was baggy on the bottom, tight on the top, and it rode up nearly to my belly button like I'm from the 1950s. I am not from the 1950s. But that was my old underwear, and that's done now. I got new underwear from Tomboy X. I don't have the body that you see in fashion ads, which is who most manufacturers make their underwear for, but not Tomboy X. They created underwear that fits real human beings in all of our sizes, shapes, and placement on the gender spectrum, or off it. Tomboy X underwear makes me feel like, yeah, this underwear doesn't just fit me, it gets me. They also have a lot of cool colors and patterns. This morning I put on plaid briefs because I'm American, damn it, and I'm ready for autumn, and these briefs fit perfectly, like they were made just for me. Tomboy X since 2014 has been making brazenly unapologetic underwear for all bodies, all shapes, all genders, all sizes, really, all sizes. You think of a size that you usually can't find? Tomboy X has it. Discover your inner tomboy, and let me get you started with my special discount. Go to tomboyx.com and enter code MORNING to get a 20% off extra from your order. That's 20% off when you enter MORNING, MORNING, at tomboyx.com. Tomboyx.com, restrictions apply, and see site for details.
First up in the Fan Zone Cow Zone, we have Shiri. Shiri writes, "Hi, Meg, Symphony, and Hal. First of all, thanks for the podcast." Well, you're welcome, Shiri. I hope that's correct. Shiri. I'm going to say Shiri. That's correct, right? Great. I love it. I enjoyed listening to your thoughts about experiences of Welcome to Night Vale and to get that look behind the scenes. I'm writing to share my theory on angels. I feel that angels are Night Vale's bisexuals. Okay. I'm interested. Let's hear more. Whenever they're mentioned, it's clarified that they are definitely not angels because angels don't exist. No one is allowed to acknowledge that they're angels, even though it's clear and obvious that they are. Kind of like every time bisexuality appears in the media. Or should I say, definitely not bisexuality. Best, Shiri. P.S. In case you're interested, I have a book about bisexual politics called Bi, Notes for a Bisexual Revolution. Check it out if you like. I sure will. I'll add it to my bisexual library. Bi erasure is a thing. And it does happen to be questioned and ignored by a good portion of communities and come with its own issues. I think it's interesting that you compare it to the angels because, not wrong, I don't think. What if the angels are also bisexual? That's like double erasure, you know?
Yeah. Not to erase this theory, but I feel like maybe the angels are like maybe more pansexual.
Possible.
Yeah.
But I think yes, bisexuality does get erased sometimes, but like I don't know. I think it could be. I think a lot of things could be, but I like this theory. What do you guys think? Great.
I like it as well. I think it's I think it hits.
Hits home. Thanks, Shiri.
Motion carries.
Next, we hear from Ira. Ira writes, "Hi, Meg, Hal, and Symphony. I love Good Morning Eat Vale and all the fun conversations y'all have, whether connected to Night Vale or Crazy Tangent. I can't take credit for the original headcanon, but I saw a post about how Cecil gets his news by gossiping with old woman Josie and her friends that definitely aren't angels. Old woman Josie has been my favorite character since the beginning of the show, so I loved that headcanon and I took it into my own head. After hearing about bowling league nights, I added the headcanon that those were definitely involved in Cecil's journalistic process. And I think since old woman Josie passed, spoilers, Cecil still goes to the Definitely Not for Angels for updates on how she's doing and to get more news stories. He's bad at his job, so he doesn't know how to get news any other way. Also, I thought you should know that I've started to pronounce mozzarella like Meg. One day, my husband asked me to get some cheese out of the fridge, and I wasn't sure I heard him correctly, so I responded, "The mozzarella?" He looked at me in utter confusion before repeating the commonly agreed upon pronunciation, mozzarella. I didn't realize what I did until like 5 minutes later. Love you all, Ira. Mozzarella.
Mozzarella.
That's all I have to say.
Mark Gagliardi, who plays John Peters, the farmer, has a story that he has told on We Got This, one of my other podcasts, where the end of it is a woman in New York saying, "Nobody's walking with mutts." So I guess that's what I think of whenever I think of mozzarella. Somebody saying, "Nobody's walking with mutts." I just realized this is the wrong podcast to tell that story. Chishira writes in an email titled Gen Z is Listening. Hello, lovelies. My name would be Chishira, she, her. I'm writing in to inform you that Gen Z is listening. I myself am a nerdy high schooler who, along with a gaggle of other nerdy whippersnappers of my acquaintance, listen religiously to Night Vale and to the very show you create. In fact, I was introduced to Night Vale by a group of young writers who all happened to be taking a creative writing class last summer. But I'm not just writing in to announce my existence. I have some thoughts. First, when I turned 16 not long ago, I wrote Tamika's monologue from episode 96, Negotiations, down. And first thing in the morning on my birthday, I just said it out loud. This was a transformative experience. Oh, how cool. I highly recommend other 15-year-olds try this if they get the chance. The result was my mom rolled her eyes at me and told me I woke her up early. That's life, though. To add, I listen to your podcast while actively walking the track in what suffices for a gym class in this age. Many times, people on said track can witness me shouting things like, "No, not the colon hydrotherapy. I eat next period," and whispering, "Food, always food," which I blame on your podcast. That's a compliment. Thank you, lovelies. Meg, congrats on your small human. I hope you're doing well. P.S. My friend dared me to do this. If this gets on the air, imagine me laughing hysterically and pacing in circles, because that's what I'd be doing. Your dedicated listener, Chishira, thank you for listening. Thank you for sounding off as a Zoomer who listens to the show. And one more thing for your walk around the track, 2 words, hydrotherapy.
It's been zero days since the last incident.
0 days. Got it in there under the wire. Thank you so much for listening, everybody. We have t-shirts and towels unrelated to the colon hydrotherapy. Next episode is Flight. Until then, good morning, Night Vale. Good morning.
Good Morning Night Vale is a Night Vale Presents production. It is hosted by Symphony Sanders, Hal Lublin, and Meg Bashmaner. It is edited by Felicia Dominguez and mixed by Vincent Cascione. It is produced by Meg Bashmaner. Theme music by Disparition. Special thanks to our fans for submitting their thoughts this week. Leave us a voicemail at 929-277-2050 or email us at info@goodmorningnightVale.com to share your theories and ask questions, or to start some shit. This show is powered by our patrons like Balthazar, Chewy Pancakes, Hope Mazika, Stormy Dennison, and Bree Palmer. If you are interested in supporting this show in exchange for lots of fun, exclusive, insider, hyper cool kid content, check us out at patreon.com/goodmorningnightVale. For more info on this show, go to goodmorningnightVale.com and follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at Night Vale Chat. Special thanks to Joella Knapp, Jeffrey Craner, and Joseph Fink. The calzone ingredient of the week is the Halloween candy you bought for the trick-or-treaters, knowing full well that you live in the woods and have no neighbors.
Within the Wires is an immersive fiction podcast by Janina Mathewson and Night Vale co-creator Jeffrey Craner. Each season, we unfold a brand new story strictly via found audio from an alternate 20th century. Season 4, The Cradle, is a story about a mother and daughter as they attempt to lead a family-centric commune surviving on the fringes of society. Subscribe to Within the Wires at nightvalepresents.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
From PRX.